right, Jackson, Mississippi.
Jacktown.
We're here, round 2.
Round 2.
Of many more, I hope.
Yeah, sounds good to me, man.
I believe Benny brings a lot to the table from the standpoint of kind of being cut from the same cloth here. So, let's see, man. The podcast is acting a little funky, but we'll let it roll, see what happens. Anyway, so Benny, how you been, brother?
I'm good, man. How you been?
Man, another day in paradise, bro.
That's right.
Another day in paradise.
Oh, let me turn this down.
We appreciate everybody tuning in with us tonight. I know there is a presidential debate getting ready to come on. I know a lot of y'all's attention will be pointed that direction. But until then, and hopefully after then, we will keep your attention.
Right, but surely you know that our conversation is going to be way more interesting than the conversation they're going to have.
Yeah. No mute button required.
Right.
And we both know when to not talk over the other person.
Right.
Which I'm getting better at that because I get excited and I just get to talking.
Yeah.
So
I'm the same way, man.
I swear I need a bigger desk or something. All right. Y'all give us 1 second here. Let me get my share option going.
Yeah, let me share it on my page too, man.
If y'all have any questions from Benny or myself, hit us up, man. We're kind of freehanding it tonight. I got a few questions I wanted to talk about from last time, and we're gonna hit up a bunch of current events. You know, and just kind of see what's going on. I know, Benny, y'all have an event coming up Sunday, right?
Yeah, we do, man.
Another Unity in the Community.
Unity in the Community. That's right.
Tell us about that.
So a couple weeks ago, we had one at the parking lot of the Plasma Center on Northside Drive in Hanging Moss.
Mm-hmm.
And this week we're going to have one at Westland Plaza. The next one will be in South Jackson. We're going all over the city, and then we're going to start combing all the different neighborhoods. And what it's about is bringing awareness to the people of Jackson that we are implementing a program to fight the violence. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And so what we're doing is we have like at the Unity in the Community rally on Northside Drive, we had a food truck that is from North Jackson, and we had some people speak from North Jackson. West Jackson's going to be the same way, South Jackson will be the same way, and we're trying to bring in those community members that can make a difference in the neighborhood.
Man, that's awesome, dude. You know, so we have a mutual friend. We'll call her a friend, Miss Valerie. Mm-hmm. You know Valerie? She's involved in a bunch of these type things. She actually sent me the flyer.
Right.
She runs a mail truck.
Okay.
And I don't know Miss Valerie's last name off the top of my head, but she runs with Helen Brown and that crew.
Right. Yeah.
So she was she brings the mail to where I work at. So we just got to talking not one day, just a few weeks ago. She's like, I was like, are you familiar with Save Jackson? You know, because we were talking about like local political stuff. She's like, yeah. I was like, well, that's me. She's like, I watched that. She's like, you and your wife do that show thing.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah. So now every time she comes in, we sit down and we talk for 20 minutes or so. And
right.
She's as active in the community. I wish I was as active as her. You know, that I had the I don't want to say free time, but that I had the time on the weekends and stuff to do that. You know.
Yeah, and that's a problem a lot of people have, man. I've been blessed enough to where I navigated my life to the direction in which I can do stuff like this. You know what I mean? Let me rephrase that. I didn't navigate my life nowhere. God navigated my life. You know what I mean? And He's put me in a position to where, I mean, I have my story and I have the message that I carry everywhere I go. You know what I mean? And He's put me in a place to where I can do that on a daily basis without having to worry about how I'm going to feed my family. You know what I mean? And a lot of people don't have that, and I understand it. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah. Look, I'm telling you, I've had a lot of freedom over the years with my schedule, and then when I got in the car business, I gave up all that freedom.
Right.
You know, and then I had every other Saturday off, but I caught myself spending too much money on my Saturdays off.
Right.
You know, everyone's like, let me go to Best Buy, let me go here, let me go there. You know, I was like, so I switched my schedule up where I have a day off during the week. Because the thing is, you get a little older, man, that day off during the week means a little bit more.
It does.
Because there's some stuff you can't go do on the weekends.
Hey, look here. I'll tell you another something I have to have, and I love it. So now that I'm doing strong arms, I got my plumbing business on the side. I got a couple of guys that run a truck for me.
Yeah.
So I don't have to leave the house at 6:37 in the morning. You know, I have my mornings to where I can get on my laptop and I can do my paperwork, and I get in my gym and I work out and I pray, and I got all that meditation time in the mornings. Man, look here. If it wasn't for that, I don't know if I would be able to maintain.
Look, you know, when I tore my shoulder up last year, I was getting up at 5:30 every morning going to the gym.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I didn't want to quit getting up.
Right.
You know, like even if I couldn't work out, I didn't want to get out of the habit of getting up early. So now I use that time, because I haven't been going to the gym like I need to, but I use that time to get up, get my head right, make coffee, drink coffee, and do the same thing.
Right. It's
you
quiet in the mornings. You can meditate. You can think. You know what I mean? And I love it. I love my morning time.
You know, and what's crazy is like last night after doing the podcast and everything, I didn't get to bed till 1:30 in the morning between editing and getting ready to send in the radio station.
Yeah.
And I could have slept to about 8:15. If I take my shower at night, I can sleep to about 8:15, but I got to go. There is no stutter stepping.
Right.
And but I still got up at 7 this morning, which is about 30, 45 minutes later than normal.
Right.
And I was like, I got to have that hour
right.
to just get my life together.
Man, look, it's done got to where I don't care if I've stayed up till midnight or 1 o'clock in the morning. By 4:30 to 5 o'clock, my eyes are opening. I might as well sit up like the Undertaker because I'm awake. So I just get on out of bed, man.
Man, look, it's the same. You can ask Crystal. First off, I get up 2 or 3 times a night to use the restroom. You know, but my body, as long as I don't fool around too much, look at my phone or anything, I can get right back to sleep. But about 5:30, 6 o'clock, I'm waking up now. I'll roll around and try to fight it for a little bit.
Right.
Then I'm like, well, you might as well just go on and get up and, you know, enjoy the morning.
Man, look, if I tried to lay there, my mind, so I'm awake now, right?
Yeah.
My mind's going. I'm thinking about that last plumbing call from yesterday. I'm thinking about I need to do this invoice. I need to get up. I need to go through our Credible Messenger curriculum. So them gears start rolling at about 5 o'clock in the morning. I get on up, handle my business, get woke up, and I go in there, sit in front of my computer, and do whatever it is I'm doing until Christina gets ready to get up. And
oh yeah, I mean, I'm the same way. So we listen to some kind of podcast or another, or talk radio, something streaming at night,
right? So
I can have some background noise to kind of put my mind at. Because if it's dead silent, I'm in them thoughts. I'm like, oh no, I got to pay. I got to do this. I got to do that. I got to do this. I can't. My mind won't rest.
See, I'm completely backwards. Like at night, it can be 8 o'clock at night, or it can be 10 o'clock at night. Me and Christina, we get in that bed. When my head hits that pillow, I'm gone immediately. Christina says she don't know how I do it. I go immediately, but in the morning, 4:30 or 5, immediately my eyes open.
It's hard,
like
man.
Clockwork. I think it's doing all the time I did in prison helped to build that internal clock in me to get up early. Because I was one of them guys. I got up early every morning, and I went and got the broom and the mop, and I cleaned my little area. You know what I mean? And a bunch of everybody else still sleeping around me. I'm up. And it's just stuck with me, man.
Man, that's good. That's good. I guess, and I've never asked anybody that's been to prison this, but is it loud as hell at nighttime trying to get to sleep? I mean, just people hooting and hollering all night.
It's super loud. And maybe that's why I go to sleep so easy now, because you don't go to sleep easy in prison. And it's not only the noise. There's always a little bit of tension in the air.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's always, according to where you're at, I've been in camps to where it was all the way laid back,
Mm-hmm.
But then I've been in camps where you had to sleep with your boots on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So.
And and you come from you come from a life that it's probably you've had to sleep with an eye open in the past as well. So I don't want to say it was an easy transition. It's never an easy transition going to prison.
Right.
But I guess you just.
I think actually, I want want to say it was an easy transition for me to go to prison
Really?
but by the time I went to prison, I'd done all my juvenile years in detention centers and training school. You know, that's something we're trying to fight with Strong Arms of Jxn, man, is these kids getting institutionalized at a young age, because it happens. You know,
you get caught in that system.
You get caught in the system.
You get on house arrest, or let's just say probation. You get on paper, whatever it may be. You fail a drug test. You don't have any positive. You're still hanging out with the same people you got in trouble with.
That's right.
And I'm glad you brought that up, because I want to jump into how this program, just how guys with your experiences and my experiences and other guys like ourselves, how we can, credible messenger, how we,
Right.
Feel like, hey man, if you listen to us and take a little bit of the advice,
Yeah.
you can prevent yourself from going down this road.
That's right.
You get caught up in that system, and you don't separate yourself from the people you were around when you got in that. You're going to end up right back in it.
That's right.
They're going to pop you on a drug test.
Mm-hmm.
They just going to keep you trapped.
That's right.
And I used to not respect that. I didn't. Even at an older age, I was like, you got to be responsible for yourself. You quit making excuses. And that's true. You do.
That is true.
But
accountability is everything.
Accountability is everything. But there is a lot to be said for, the system will get you trapped up in it.
The system will get you trapped up in it.
I mean, just this day, all the people I see without driver's license every day, they'd rather pay $500 extra to get a car than to go get the driver's license situated. And it's because mentions like one warrant or whatever the case may be,
Look, Clay, I went and got my driver's license the first time at 39 years old.
No kidding. And I'm hearing that from more and more people too.
Yeah, man. Look, I went to the DMV over at Rankin County and took the written test with a bunch of teenagers.
Okay.
Because I never, coming up, I didn't have anybody to take me to get a driver's license. I didn't have anybody that taught me how to get a bank account. I didn't have anybody that I could actually watch pay bills every month.
These are things that I took for granted. And I
Right.
think people that have that, of course you take it for granted, because you don't realize that you're taking it for granted.
That's right.
Don't think about it.
It's just like, this is just the way life is.
Yeah.
And when you get out and you get a little older, you get more leathered.
Yeah.
You learn that not everybody had the same opportunities, and and it's done me well to remind myself of that, because sometimes I've given my daughter a lot of rope, thinking, well, I mean, she's seen me do all these things, and I think back, I'm like, well, she really hadn't.
Right.
It's like you think just because they're in the vicinity.
Yeah.
And it's good to sit down with your kids and teach them these things. It blows my mind how many people don't know how to say when they're car shopping, for instance.
Right.
They don't know how to articulate asking, do you finance vehicles where I can make a payment every month?
Right.
Getting that sentence out of their mouth isn't always easy. It's a language, and it's a phrase of words they just have not used or been taught the correct meaning.
That's exactly right, man.
And that's what I want to offer my services. And I rack my brain all the time thinking, other than run my mouth on the internet,
Right.
How can I help and not just help prevent people from screwing up and going to jail? How can I help them better their lives?
Right.
And
the stuff you're talking about, man, like soft skills, teaching people about credit, teaching people how to build credit, teaching people how to something so simple as getting a bank account.
Yeah, and that's what I want to try to. When you guys get up and rolling, and y'all start getting the game plan together, and what y'all gonna be able to do, keep me in mind. I'd like to come in, say once a month or something like that, and teach a class like that.
Yeah,
Even if you want to call it a class, but show people this is what you need to do.
No, it's a class. It's a training,
Yeah.
because we want to get like that. Man, we want to bring all type of trainings to the communities in Jackson. You know what I mean?
Because people all the time, and this is not just a underprivileged thing here.
Right.
People with money need this lesson too, or people from backgrounds where they got stable homes or whatever.
Yeah.
How to build your credit,
Yeah.
And I'm gonna give y'all some free advice right here. If y'all are tuning in tonight, if you've ever wondered how to build your credit, how to build your kids' credit, and maybe you have bad credit, take them down to a credit union. And I think you can. Let's just say 18 years old. I don't want to get hemmed up on the under 18 stuff.
Right.
18 years old. Take them down there. Save $500. Start an account with $500 and borrow a secured loan. against your own money. They'll do it.
Right.
No questions asked. And some of these credit unions, and I want to say is it Bank Plus has got a credit building.
Gracie has her account, Bank Plus.
Yeah, I want to say Bank Plus has got a credit building account where like at 16, they can start building their credit.
It's free for students.
Really?
The account.
Okay. I didn't know about that one.
Yeah, I didn't either. And somebody, we were staying at that Airbnb out there. That I don't know if you saw that barn dominium I posted some pictures of. It's out in Brandon. It's a barn they converted into like a high-end apartment.
Right.
Like a cabin in the
It's
woods.
got like a little movie theater in it.
Zip
really?
lines.
Zip lines.
Oh man.
Well, the lady that's part of that works with Bank Plus, and she was explaining to us the programs that they have in place. And look, Bank Plus may very well do a great job of going into schools and making these programs known.
Right.
I'm not plugged into
I'm with you.
that, so they could very well have it everywhere. I just know that in my circle, I was not familiar with it,
Right.
and I was just blown away.
I'm not familiar with it. I hadn't
Yeah, but
heard
you
anything
can,
about that.
you can take $500, and we'll go back to the credit union because I don't have the Bank Plus plan in front of me. Take $500 to the credit union, do a secured loan. It's like, now just put this in my bank account here.
Right.
Start a bank, costs $25. Start a checking account at a credit union because you got to become a member.
Right.
Now they sure $25, but you got to start the bank account with at least $25.
Right.
Then they will just draw that, set it up on auto draft, and they will just draw that money out and pay it back. And you've already got the $500, so it's not costing you anything but whatever the interest
Right.
is.
Right.
Which may be $30, $40, whatever. And you do that over a little bit, and you're not building big credit, big deep number credit,
Right.
but you're getting your score up, and then
Right.
you can get qualified for a credit card.
Right.
And other little things. And next thing you know, is high credit is what it's called. I had a brain fart there. You're not getting a whole lot of high credit, but you get that soft credit.
That's where you start, though. Mm-hmm. That's right.
And because I see so many zeros. Well, there's not some such thing as an actual zero. It's just an NA.
Right.
But it's just no credit. And but if you can get that score up, places like Toyota Financial and whatnot, on new cars, they have first-time buyer programs and auto qualifiers. So say they're running a special this month and it's 0%, automatic 0%. Well, if you're a 670 or above, you just automatic qualify. Now they may want to see proof of employment and proof of income,
Right.
but you're automatically, boom.
Right.
And you did it with soft, a low credit limit, but you got a good score.
You want me to tell you what? It's gonna sound crazy. What saved me with my credit? Well, I've got such good credit now. Going to prison. So I did all my life locked up. I never even had a cell phone in my name.
Yeah.
Nothing. So when I started I got out of rehab in 2012. So I guess that would be when I really kind of started building my credit. It was from scratch, and in no time, man, my credit score shot up there.
That's awesome.
But I didn't have. One thing I learned about credit is hospital bills. They stay there and they get on you because Christina, we decided when we started building a life together, man. I wanted to buy a house. It was just I wanted to be able to have something that I could leave my wife and daughter. I wanted something that I could do work on and make it mine. And I thought it was a pipe dream. You know what I mean? I thought that something like that was unheard of for me. And then Christina's car broke down. So we went to this little small car lot in Pearl, Extreme Auto.
Yep.
And we got her a car and found somebody that financed to me and her. I can't remember how I found out that I had credit. So we said, shoot, man, found out that you had 620 credit score was enough to buy a house, man. So we went to a mortgage company and they told Benny Ivey he could buy a house. And I'm like, so next thing you know, but we did like you did talking about, got us we started out with the Capital One secured credit card, and then the limit went up, and then the limit went up. We paid the car off. Both of our credit just, but those hospital bills, if it wasn't for, we had to go to Christina's grandmother so she could pay about $3,000 of hospital bills off. Because if she wouldn't have done that, then her credit wouldn't have been going up like it was.
Yeah, and you got there's the debt to income and all that stuff, and they nowadays, how long ago was that?
Whenever
with the hospital bills. You had to do that.
This was 2000 and I'm gonna say 15.
Yeah, so they have eased the rules up a little bit on the hospital bills. They're not supposed to as negatively affect.
Right.
They can still collect on it and stuff, and they'll show it on there. But a lot of lenders are looking at, like if you go to buy a car, they want to see good car credit. Like how did you pay your car loan and stuff of that nature.
Okay, I got you.
And people ask all the time, well,
it's easy to get messed up as far as hospital bills go.
Oh yeah. They'll get you. I mean,
in a heartbeat. I know it can.
I paid a ton of money for insurance for a long time, and I still do. But when my shoulder tore up, they did well on my insurance company, and I still got a massive bill that I got to pay from. But the funny thing is, I'm not going to say the people's name because I don't want to sound like I'm bad mouthing them. It's not them. It's just the medical game and how it works.
Right.
But it's funny. Like if I had gone in there and just told them, "Hey, I'm paying cash for this," I would have paid less than what they've already made from my insurance company. But they're still sending me a $7,000-8,000 bill post-op. On top of that.
So I had to go. I went. Let's see. I'm 44, and I think I was 40 years old, and I would have some GI stuff done, and colonoscopy and all that stuff. Right.
Been down that road. I can tell you all about that.
Yeah. And I couldn't because I didn't remember it.
Yeah.
I woke up like, we going back there yet? No, we done did it. But
they knocked you out?
Knocked me out. Knocked me out. Oh, I don't even want to hear it. That's horrible.
I'll share that story. I'll share that story.
Play awake and have fun with it.
Yeah, I'll share that story off air.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't want to give the haters anything like that they can clip up.
Right.
It's terrible. Right. One of the most humbling, embarrassing, terrible, painful moments of my life.
I can imagine that. But when I went, they I told at that time I didn't have health insurance. And when I went and told them, I said, look, I do not have health insurance, but I want to, I pay my bills. Can we do a payment plan? And that's when I learned that there's a certain price for insurance, and then there's a certain price for people who don't have insurance. Mm-hmm. And yeah, they be taxing insurance companies.
Sure.
Oh yeah.
Still, but insurance is in on the game. Is in on the in on the game.
Right.
Don't make no mistake.
They're all benefiting.
There's a bunch of tax write-offs and stuff. Like with any business.
Right.
They'll write off the medical bills and stuff. I mean, but I don't want to sit here and say what's going on because I'm not on that side of it.
Right.
But I'm smart enough to know what's going on on some level. I don't think I'm too far off.
Right.
Real quick, we jumped straight in hot, and I forgot to mention our sponsors. And when you get a great guest like Benny, man, and you just bounce off so much stuff, it's easy to just jump in hot because we start talking when you get here, like in the kitchen, and we just basically move our conversation into here until my butt finds time to hit play.
Yeah.
Real quick, USA Pawn. We're here at the USA Pawn Studios. They're at our palatial South Jackson estate. The USA Pawn has 6 metro area locations: McDowell Road, Woodrow Wilson, Ellis Avenue, Pearl, Canton, Vicksburg. I've gotten good at this.
Gotten good at it. I see that.
Gold, silver, jewelry, loans, laptops, flat screens, iPads, used guitars, anything, tools. I was blown away at how many tools the USA Pawn mega store at McDowell Road has. Went by there the other day to pick up these awesome cups from my buddy Nick, and I was just kind of walking around taking pictures, and I was like, man, I didn't even know I needed that tool till I just saw it.
Right.
Like pressure washers, stuff like that.
Yeah.
I mean, who doesn't need a pressure washer?
Everybody needs a pressure washer.
So you can shop them online at usapawn.com. Be sure to tell them that Save Jxn sent you. Man, they do sell guns and ammo there at the McDowell Road store. So just a heads up, go there. And again, shop them online, usapawn.com. Speaking of gyms and getting up early, what I have not been doing like I need to, the gym at Byram, my favorite gym in the South that I've ever worked out at, the only one I actually stuck to it at.
Right.
And that, that comfort, we talked about this, just being comfortable enough somewhere that you stick to it.
Yeah.
You feel like it's a judgment-free zone, and I know that's another gym's tagline, But I really do feel like that when I go to the gym at Byram. People are minding their own business,
Yeah.
filming their little Instagram videos, and everybody's big enough that everybody's in their own world.
Right.
Indoor basketball, private female workout area, tanning beds, massive cardio area, massive old school weights.
See, that's what I like, man.
Just real deal clanging and banging.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's the place, man. The big cross. Damn, what's that damn machine called with the
Butterfly.
Cross, but yeah, the big. I got not the Smith machine, but the butterfly cable crossover machine.
Right.
Damn, I got to start writing things down. Cable crossover machine. I mean, they got it all there. Awesome gym. Tons of free weights. Check them out. thegym@byram.com. You can also do a virtual tour of the place there, or give them a call. 372-2229. That is 601-372-2229. And if you buy a personal trainer workout program, you're going to get 2 additional workouts for free, and they are waiving the joining fee for the rest of the month and prorating it. So pretty cool deal there. And last but not least, father and son Southern Lawncare professionals based out of South Jackson right here. Mr. Danny White, lifelong Jacksonian. Been cutting grass and whatnot for years and years and years. Give him a call. 601-301-3210. Anywhere in the Tri-County area. Focuses more on the suburbs than so much Jackson itself. So give Danny a call, and he is your guy. All right, let's jump back in. I appreciate that, everybody. Hey, also, we will be live on WYAB 103.9. I say live. It will be streaming live on the radio. WYAB 103.9, 11 a.m. to noon Saturday, and that will be made available on podcast immediately after. All right, we got the business out the way.
Good deal.
So back to it. So this week, did you see? We talked about we don't like glorifying the numbers. You know, we like to remember that every number is a family and a person.
A family, right?
But it is getting really hard to ignore these numbers.
I think we're like 108, right?
Yeah, 107 unless something else has happened today.
Right.
I mean, look, you ought to just count the whole Tri-County area. It ain't just Jackson.
No, it's not, man.
You know, and as much hell as I give Jackson leadership and whatnot, and they shoulder plenty of it.
Yeah.
Last night in Canton, you had a mass shooting, and they ain't make no mistake. 4 people get shot, 1 gets killed. That's a mass shooting.
That's a mass shooting, bro.
You know, mass shooting at a McDonald's.
At McDonald's.
You know, now it doesn't fit some of the political narratives that are typically involved with the mass shooting, and I'm not gonna drag Benny into all that here. That's not what he's here for. But you know, it's sad.
It's sad, man.
Because what took somebody's life to that point?
Right. You know, there's so many different factors that play into stuff, you know, but it all comes down to a disregard for human life. You know, how can I just can't even I couldn't fathom the things that they're going. So gun culture is big in Jackson right now. You know what I mean?
And I like the proper usage of that. It's gun culture,
right? And you know, and it's the NBA young boy. It's the and you know, this is how I feel about it. You know, I come up as a teenager. You know, we went from listening to Metallica and Motley Crue and
straight to Master P and NWA.
Right. Well, then I started listening to Eazy-E and Ice Cube, NWA, man, and then from there it went to Snoop Dogg and you know, and I'm not. Don't get me wrong. I would say I'm not going to blame music, but it's a big part of it, man. Sure. Because what I started doing, and everybody around me, when I started listening to Snoop Dogg and Dr. Dre, that's when the Chronic and all that stuff was coming. No, that was when Doggy Style was coming out with Snoop Dogg stuff.
Yeah, the same era, that 91 to about 95 there.
Mm-hmm. Well, we acted out the music that we listened to.
Sure.
You know, and that's the same thing going on today, but it's magnified, man, with the gun culture.
You think I'd ever had a gin and juice before I heard gin and juice?
Exactly right.
A bottle of Tanqueray before I heard Tanqueray on the radio.
And a lot of the music is it's glorifying gun culture. It's degrading women. It's It's doing all these things that is making people, you know, you got how many fatherless homes do we have now? You know what I mean? How many? So on Wednesdays and Thursdays, a lot of weeks, we meet at a church on West Capitol Street, and we box up a bunch of groceries. We got a bunch of food networks that donate food, and look, I just want to say, man, people show up and show out when it comes to pandemic and stuff. When people in need, man, because sometimes they so much food shows up, I get mad because I'm having to unload these trucks. You know what I mean? But so we load these groceries up, and we go to Rebelwood Apartments over on Terry Road, and we go to Wood Village Apartments on Raymond Road, among other places. But that's my main two places I go because I've lived in both of those apartment complexes. You know what I mean? That's my roots. That's where I came from as a child, as a teenager. And we go to these apartment complexes, and we pass out food, and we get to know people, and we hang out, and we make connections, you know. And last week we was there, or maybe it was the week before last. And we was at Rebelwood Apartments, and I was talking to this lady. We was propped up against my truck. And she said, you know, I got little kids, and I have teenagers. She said, I don't let them come outside. She said, in the evenings, you can look out the window, and the apartments are crawling with young people, and they all have guns. They all have guns in their hands, on their sides, and, you know, it's the gun culture. And she said,
you were telling me about, and I didn't mean to interrupt you, but make sure we're talking about the same thing. Like, you were talking about y'all were there, and there was a young kid walking around with like an Uzi looking type gun.
Exactly. So we're at Rebelwood, and we're having this conversation with this lady, and then we leave there, and we go to Wood Village, and we're passing out groceries and stuff, and this group of young people comes walking across the parking lot, and my brother John Knight, he's one of our credible messengers on Strong Arms of Jackson with us. You know, he's got a big voice in Jackson, man. Yeah. It's just everywhere we go, they know John. You know what I mean? And that's the people that it's going to take to make a difference in Jackson, man. The John Knights.
Yeah.
And we're sitting there, and John said, say, little brother, come here. Come here. He said, put that gun up before you get up here where we at. And it was I've been a pretty much convicted felon all my life, so I ain't had a lot of guns. You know,
sure.
When I was younger, I kept a pistol, but when I say this, I don't know the difference between one gun and the next. All I know is it had a banana clip on it.
Yeah.
And he's walking around with it by his side, and he puts it in his pants, and he comes over there, and he says, John said, "What are you planning on killing somebody?" He said, "No, bro, this the projects."
Yeah, they might be planning on killing me.
Right. So that's the mindset, though.
Yeah.
You know, we have to have a gun. Where we live, it's what we do. So what we got to do is change that mindset. You know what I mean? How do you change that mindset? You got to fix those root problems, bro. You know, they have this thing right now, and you know, not getting into politics or nothing, but I am ideologically and politically, I think I'm more center-right.
Sure.
Okay? You know, a bunch of people that I love and care about that I work with every day, they're left, hard left, you know, and that just goes to show you that we can't let those things come in between us doing stuff to make a difference.
I have a theory, and I don't want to interrupt you, but if you wrote down, and you didn't say left and right, and you wrote down the policies of each side, right, a lot of people who think they're left,
right,
are a lot more right than they believe if you don't put that title above it.
I agree with that.
You know,
I agree with that. You know, the only thing, and I guess we're all getting into a little bit of politics here, but the only thing that I feel like, okay, so there's a lot of stuff that I don't agree with politically on the Democrat side, but there's a lot of stuff I don't agree with on the Republican side too. I feel like there should be more compassion where there is not. So a lot of people on the Republican side are law and order, lock them up, lock them up, lock them up. Well, you got some people that have lived like I did and know no other way.
Yeah.
Been a drug addict all their life. They don't need to be locked up. They need to be helped.
Yeah.
You know? And I think that's the line that needs to be drawn in the sand when it comes to politics, you know, because I got a bunch of friends and a bunch of people that I know that are diehard Republican, diehard right-wing, and they're Christians and they go to church, but then they say stuff like, lock them up. Come on, bro. You know, that takes me back to what would Jesus do?
Yeah.
You know, because you've got to have compassion you know, you got a lot of people in Jackson that feel like they're worthless. That's how they feel. They wake up, they walk outside, they got abandoned homes all over the place. That's the environment that they live in.
It breaks your psyche.
It breaks your psyche, bro. You know?
They only know one way.
You only know one way, and and I can relate to it so much, man, because I came up in that environment. I came up
potholes and hellholes, man.
Right, and so I had the mentality that I was a product of my environment, and that's just all it was to it. So what I decided to do, in my mind, back when we was kids, it was Vice Lord and Gangster Disciples, Southside Posse, a whole bunch of white dudes that thought they was Vice Lords, right? And then there was a whole bunch of little white guys that thought they was Gangster Disciples, and that's when the gang culture got a hold of me.
And make no mistake, that started with us discovering rap music.
Exactly right. It did, bro. It's just the truth. It's just the truth.
Anybody our age that tells you any different is lying.
That's right. Exactly right. And so in my mind, as a child, as a teenager, nobody would ever grow to respect me because I'm trash. I'm white trash. So the only way that I'm going to get respect in this life is to excel in an organization and become a leader.
Yeah.
That was
to be the baddest ass.
To be the boss of, and that's, to me, that was the only way. And for anybody watching this, I want to be clear. So I did climb the ranks at Simon City Royal. I was the highest ranking Simon City Royal in Central Mississippi, and I had what I thought was respect, and I had what I thought was love, and what I thought was, my family. But in the past 12 years, I've been clean from meth 10, but I've been retired from the organization 12. The life that I live now, I get so much more respect. I get so much more love, so much more support than I ever did all my entire life. I lived a lie all the way up to my mid-30s. And so anybody that's watching this, that's caught up in them gangs and caught up in that life, and you think that that's just the only life that you got, man, it's not true. That's a lie by the devil himself. That's what he's here for, to kill, steal, and destroy, man. So just anybody watching this, you're not stuck in them pits. You're stuck in them pits if you choose to stay stuck in them pits.
Yeah.
If you drug addict, if you stuck up in them gangs and feel like you can't get out of it, man, BennyIvey.com. I got a website. I got a Facebook page. Look me up. Shoot me a message. Whatever, bro. Because we got people that care and the people that want to help you leave that life.
Yeah, I'm sure you saw the post I tagged you this morning when I said, or maybe it was last night, this morning, whatever, both. I was like, if you got a kid, especially that may be on the fence a little bit, sit them down with this and listen to us tonight.
Yeah. That's a fact, man.
Or send this to them and just let them hear that, that wanting to, shawty want to be a thug, that life ain't going to take you nowhere.
It ain't going to take you nowhere, man.
But I will say this, the road, the path you took to get to where you're at, I respect the hell out of you, and I knew I would before you ever came over last week. I just had done enough research and knew enough common people.
Right.
And then just talking to you, I was like, man, but you left here, and I thought, I was like, man, I got a new partner.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I just respect you because I feel like it's coming from your heart. I will go on a limb and say, I know it's coming from your heart.
Yeah.
You just know when somebody is putting it on fake.
Being genuine.
And when you know when somebody's being real.
I know. We run into people like, so when we first started building our Strong Arms of Jxn program, man, me and my co-director, we've been everywhere, man. They flew us to New York, to Washington, D.C. And you had people coming out to Woodworks wanting to participate, but a few people, it was like they want to come participate whenever the news camera was there, you know what I mean, and stuff like that, man. And I mean, it is what it is. Those, people are going to be like that, man. But
we'll call it doing it for the gram.
Right, you know, and here's the thing, man. I have gotten a lot of publicity, and I go places all the time and meet people I don't know who they are. They know who I am, and it just makes me feel strange, actually, because when I first started this, it has nothing to do with,
Publicity.
Right, to be seen and be on TV and but that's what I was fixing to say, man. I've come to the realization that it helps spread my message.
Yeah.
So I can't tell you the messages that I've gotten through Messenger and let me rephrase it, not through Messenger too, but
no, I know what you mean. On Facebook Messenger and whatnot.
See, on my website, BennyIvey.com, at the end of and I say my website, y'all. I ain't been on there and updated that thing in months. You know, I got it because whenever I finish my book, I can sell my book through my website, et cetera, et cetera. But there's a contact form at the bottom of my website, and it's to email me. And I can't tell you how many people. So I got my testimonies on my website. It's an 18-minute testimony, and it's on YouTube.
I believe that we shared that in the comments of the last one.
Yeah,
I believe, and we tagged it in the about and all that too. And
Right.
we'll do it again tonight. Well, I'm gonna pull up your website and drop it in the comments here for folks now.
Okay,
you can go ahead.
But I can't tell you how many messages I've gotten through my website of people that have gone through similar struggles that I have, and that testimony opened their eyes, or so at the moment whenever they send me that message, you know, and that just reaffirms that I'm doing what God wants me to do. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, He's what matters. God is what matters, you know.
Sure.
That's why a few years back, man, 4 or 5 years back, that's why I told you I don't really talk about a lot about politics and stuff. Cause before that, I was into politics, buddy. I was, you know, everything I posted was right wing. I was sick of Obama. I was sick of this. I was sick of that, you know. And I realized, man, that this is how God works, Clay. This right here is how God works. I felt a stirring in my spirit. I felt, you know, I can't ever say that I heard God audibly speak to me like some people have had the blessings of being able to say they've heard, right? But I felt that touch and that stirring in my spirit, and it said, leave politics alone. Leave it alone. I got so I save, you know, you get your memories and you can save memories, and I got all these saved stuff on my Facebook page, and I come across that one, a post that I had made that day, and it said pretty much, you know, I felt like God has told me to leave politics alone. It's not what He wants for me. It's not doing nothing but causing division. Next thing I know, this is around the same time that I started trying to get closer to God, you know. Next thing I know, people's coming out the woodworks wanting to do stories on me, right? And everybody that started jumping into my life at that time were Democrats, okay? If I would have kept putting that garbage on my timeline on Facebook, nothing that I'm doing right now would be happening.
I know that is something I'm encountering.
Well,
now,
right?
and
but let me say this right here. Like, so I've seen some stuff that you say and do. I was like putting stuff out there just to argue and fight with people. Like, you know, I would.
And I've been there. My Facebook memories remind me daily that I can understand why people say I rubbed them the wrong way.
Right.
You know.
Right.
And now I've learned through doing the Save Jxn and having that Jxn Uncensored group and kind of letting people use me as a punching bag a little.
Right.
You know, because it doesn't bother me anymore.
Right.
I've learned that we can have conversation.
Right.
And I don't have to change your mind. Mm-hmm. And me and my buddy Morville were talking about that the other day. It's like, we can talk, and I don't think I'm not trying to change your mind. I just want you to understand why I think like I do.
Right. See, I think that's the problem with a lot of people, is they don't understand the difference between that.
People
Like
just
trying to
want
make
heard.
you believe the way I believe, other than just wanting you to understand how I.
And I don't know that I was able to rationalize that until the last year or so.
Right.
You know, that I don't have to try to change somebody's mind. I can just be like, respect the way I think, and I'm going to respect the way you think. And,
right.
And we can be friends. And I still piss some people off, and I'm okay with that. You know, they'll eventually come around, or they won't.
Right.
You know, but I feel like if people are being honest, they can say, you know what, Clay has definitely turned the corner. If you knew me, know me the last 4 or 5 years,
right.
You know, politically and socially, I've turned the corner.
Right. Well, I mean, I have made big strides as far as like, so I quit talking about politics, right? I quit watching the news. Like at that time, I kept Fox News on 24/7. And I quit watching the news. I quit letting it get in my head. I quit like everything that would come across my news feed. You got the three little dots that you hit at the top of the post, and it'll say hide this post, see fewer posts like this,
Mute this post, stuff like
right?
that. Yeah.
So, and I was doing that so much to where politics quit showing on my phone.
You know, I saw somebody else talking about that the other day, and I've thought about it, you know.
Right.
But doing the show that we do is very news driven.
Right.
I'm like, well, there's got to be a balance. I don't know that I really get my news from Facebook. I
Right.
go to my sources that I prefer
Right.
to get it. I could probably do without it. But then what?
But then what? Right.
You know?
Yeah. But see, on what I was getting at is like, so when I quit doing that, so all these people started coming out of the woodworks. So the lady come and did stories on me. Well, I tell this lady, you know, I want to get a group of people together, men and women, ex-gang members, returning citizens, people who's been to prison that can make a difference in the communities. Next thing I know, I'm getting an invite to the city hall to be a part of a presentation for a cure violence program, which is what we're doing. And God put all that stuff in my path, man. You know, if I wouldn't have listened to Him to begin with, I wouldn't be where I'm at. And what it also did was it allowed me to take that step outside my comfort zone, okay? For a couple of years, we've been building this program since 2018. I'm going to these meetings. We had 120 community members. I found this out. I didn't know the exact number until a couple of days ago. 120 community members of Jxn that were coming to our meetings, right? And I'm pretty sure I'm probably the only one that was right-leaning.
Yeah.
So I've been able to engulf myself in this whole new perspective and just listen to it. Listen to it instead of sitting at home on Facebook making these political posts about I'm right and you're wrong, I'm right and you're wrong.
The gotcha post.
Right. So now I see that perspective. Okay. I'm not a Democrat, you know what I mean? But I understand wholeheartedly that people see things differently. And just because I see it from my perspective and somebody sees it from their perspective, you know what I mean? Which one of us is right? Okay. I've decided not to look at things that way. All right. I've decided to look at things through my faith. Okay. If it's in line with what God's word says, that's what I'm in line with. That's what I'm going to roll with. You know, if it's something that Jesus, what would Jesus do? That's what I try to live by. You know, I try to look at people that way. I've been a 16-year meth addict. I've done stuck more needles in me. If they was sticking out of me, I'd be a porcupine. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I can't look at the next person that has a drug addiction, the next person that is homeless. You know, I'm one of those people, man. If I see you on the side of the road at the red light, I'm going to give you $1 or $2.
Yeah.
I'm going to do it because I don't care what put you there. You're there, and I should be compassionate enough to at least give you $1 or $2 if I can't do anything else. You know what I mean? I keep change in my ashtray, and I keep a couple dollars here. You know, because I've heard people say, "Oh, he ought to get a job." Well, what if he can't get a job? You know, what if this? What if that? I don't know what is going on in that person's life.
There's a great it's a hip hop or a techno beat, but it's put on top of a Greg Giraldo. Not even, I don't want to call it a comedy sketch. Greg's passed away now, but he did those Comedy Central roasts.
Right.
And it's called Underwear Goes Outside the Pants.
Right.
And it sounds silly, but you said that, and people always say, homeless guy, go get a job. He's like, well, you know, I'm pretty sure somewhere on the application it says underwear goes inside the pants. You know, they
Right.
tell these guys to go get a job. It's like, he's living in a cardboard box. It's like,
Right.
oh, don't give him any money. All he's going to do is buy booze and drugs. He's like, that's all I'm going to do with it. You know? But it's just one of the things that's so commonsensical that you're like, wow, he just made that make more sense.
Right. And, you know, I ain't going to lie to you. There's been a number of times that I've gone in and bought a guy a beer.
Sure.
Hey, you know, this man sitting outside a store. Just last week, I pulled up at a store on the corner of Ellis and 80. And I was walking in the store, and there was a dude standing there, and he looked so down on his luck. He was dirty, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I said, hey, brother, you want me to buy you a beer? He said, man, I'd sure like to have one of them strawberritas. I said, well, that's what you get, brother. He wanted one of them fruity drinks. So I went there and bought him one of them fruity drinks, man.
You know, it's funny you say that because you're just sitting there thinking, you're like this dude that's homeless probably didn't just start drinking. You know, like Like he went sitting on the back porch drinking strawberries last week,
right,
and ended up homeless and took
That's
that
right.
and took that fancy beer taste with him. Like somewhere along the line, somebody gave him a 6-pack of strawberries.
He
And he's
liked
like,
them.
he's like, this is pretty dang good.
That's
You know,
right.
this beats the hell out of that Schlitz, or whatever,
Definitely.
That so you were talking about Facebook memories, and you see stuff that pops up, and I saw this morning on mine. It's one of my favorite quotes, if you want to call it that. It's I got it out of an inspirational video, like a workout inspiration video,
Right.
and it's like old African proverb is, when there is no enemy within, the enemies outside cannot hurt you or can do us no harm, however you choose to word it. And man, it's one of those little things that I picked up.
That makes a lot of sense, man.
And it's like, man, if you can block out the hate,
yeah,
and all you got to contend with is yourself, then there's no more excuses.
There's no more excuses. That's right.
You
'Cause
know,
we are our own worst enemy.
Oh yeah.
That's like I help people get into rehab. I mean, since these stories and everything come out about it, I get all these messages, and I can't tell you the message. I got a buddy of mine right now, man, and I should have already made some steps today, but a buddy of mine trying to get into treatment, and I've learned, man, that you can get somebody a pathway, you can get somebody into treatment, you can send them to 100 different treatments, but at the end of the day, if they have not defeated that demon within themselves, then they're not going to get clean. I had this conversation earlier about things that God will put you through or let you go through. You know what I mean? And I believe wholeheartedly that God directs our paths, but He don't just give it to you. So God will give you a path, but that's why we have free will. He wants you to make them right decisions on the way to getting there.
Let me ask you this. I'm glad you brought that up. I didn't even think about this, and you're probably the best person to ask. So I've always had the thought process that nobody's going to clean up till they're ready to clean up. Right. Do you believe that people can kind of force sobriety their way into being sober for 5, 6, 10, 30 days, long enough to say, okay, I needed that. I do want to get sober now. Or do you think you got to hit rock bottom and say, I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired?
I think, man.
So places like Teen Challenge, when they go there, when they go somewhere against their, I don't want to say their free will, but it's like, if you don't go do this, you may go to jail, or against their free will.
I think it's not the fact that you're going to go to here. It's the second part you said, or you're going to go to jail.
Yeah.
99% of the time, it takes something drastic for somebody to get clean.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not saying that somebody can't just say, "Oh, I'm tired of doing this. It's time to get clean." Most of the time, that demon has a hold of you to the point to where it takes something drastic.
An extreme consequence.
An extreme consequence, or the death of a loved one, or the almost dying yourself. Something tragic, something serious, And that's why I'm so adamant with the teenagers that I mentor and the young people that I talk to, because if they continue to go down that path, then they're just gonna. It gets worse and worse. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? It gets worse and worse, harder to get away from it, harder to beat that demon. So,
what do you do with family members or people that that way
that won't? Well, there comes a time you got to show tough love. There comes a time you have to show tough love, because if you just continue to let them run over you and borrow money from you and steal from you and continue to get high and continue to use your house as a place to crash, and you continue to do that and don't put forth any incentive to make them quit, and then you're enabling them. Mm-hmm. And
do you believe that that is also a form of abuse, or almost a form of, how do I say this right? Like an enabler. That is an addiction for the enabler as well. Like they're feeling like they're constantly, like if they we've talked about this before, and I know I'm not wording it right here, but like the enabling is almost as bad as the addiction itself.
Yeah. Well, as far as,
because they just don't want to break that. They don't want to break that chain. They feel like they're stringing it along just enough that they're keeping them on this side of the grave.
They think they're keeping them alive.
that they're scared that the tough love will push them so far away that
and
that they'll lose them.
And I want to say that everybody's different.
Sure.
First of all, everybody's an individual people. Everybody has their own individual way they see things, the way they act, the way they react. So I can't paint a broad stroke across everybody with that. You know what I mean?
Do you feel like, and I don't want to back you into a corner here, this is just something we talk about all the time, and I like to get other people's opinions that have dealt with it. Do you feel like sometimes the enabler can be as guilty as the drug dealer in that person's life?
Yes, 100%.
Yeah.
I do. I feel that way. And I hate to say that. I'm not trying to say that in a condemning, finger-pointing type of way.
Intention.
Right. It ain't like that, but unintentionally.
Yeah.
Unintentionally,
because they think they're doing right by helping.
Right, but they're not helping.
No.
They're not helping.
Because you're putting a pillow at rock bottom.
Right, but that's a slippery slope, because how do you show that tough love with somebody you love? You got to leave my house. I love you, but you got to go because you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing here. You know what I mean? Or, no, baby, I'm not sending you no money today. I'm not sending you any money. I don't care how bad you say you're hungry. I know that's not what you're going to spend it on. How do you tell people you love those things? And so I'm not saying that it's easy to stop being an enabler to somebody you love, but it's healthier.
And then
it's healthier for both people involved.
It is, but the person that is enabling is scared that, I guess we're talking about a female.
Yeah.
But is scared, you send them out, they're going to get raped, something bad is going to happen to them.
Yeah.
And they have that.
They don't want that guilty conscience, or not just so much a guilty conscience, but the losing their daughter, sister, mother, whatever.
So, just a few weeks ago, I had this girl. So my little homeboy that works for me had a friend that she's out there in them streets on meth, and she's wide open. And he called me one morning. He was on his way to work. He said, "Man, so and so just called. Man, I'm gonna go pick her up. She said she's wanting some help, so she's gonna be with me today." I said, "That's fine." So he goes and gets her, and they get to me, and she starts talking, "I need help, I need this, I need that." So I start making arrangements. I know people. I can get people into treatment. Believe that. I can get you in treatment. So I put her in contact with these people the next day. So she messaged me the next morning, like 7 o'clock in the morning. "I'm at a motel room, and so just left me here, and I know they took my money and all this stuff. Can you please rent me a room?" I texted her. I said, "Do not ask me for a penny. I'm not renting you nothing.
Yeah.
I'm not giving you any money. You're not going to manipulate me. Period."
Yeah.
We can get you into treatment today. I can get you into detox. Didn't get another message for a little while.
There's not a better manipulator than a junkie.
Right. So then she messaged me again later that evening. I really need. I just know that, she said, "Mr. Benny, I know that if I just had a place to stay and if I had a way to take care of myself, that I'd be fine." I texted her back again. "I can get you into treatment. I got you right now. I can get you into detox and treatment. I'm not putting you in somewhere to live. I'm not doing that, And I know that's different from the tough love of a family member, but a drug addict, when I was a drug addict, I manipulated everybody that I was around. Because there was nothing more important to me than crystal meth. Point blank, period.
Yeah.
I've written in my book that I've dated a number of girls throughout my life, and a lot of them, I always, if I date them, I'm with them for a little while. I tell them I love them. I love you. And here I am, telling these girls that I love them, and in reality, I didn't love any of them. I loved meth. I loved the life that I was living, because if I loved them, I wouldn't have had them saturated in the life that I was living, because I'm doing meth, they doing meth. We lived that life. I wouldn't lay it down. I wouldn't lay that life or that drug down for these girls. Yeah. So who could say that I loved them? My wife now, I could not see myself doing anything on this planet that would jeopardize our relationship, our marriage, our family, our livelihood, our security, our stability. I love my wife with all my heart. You know, so that's just but then it's hard to put yourself in a position of an enabler.
It is.
You know, it's hard to say that, I would just kick her out, which is what, but that's a slippery slope.
And it's hard to be on the outside watching it.
It's hard to be on the outside watching it because you can't do nothing. Your hands are tied. You're helpless.
It is. So if you're not the one in charge,
that's right.
Because the enabler is usually the closest, the one that has the only smidgen left to control.
That's right.
In that person's life.
Yeah.
So it's the person closest to them.
Right. That's right.
I'm getting usually a parent or a husband or a wife
or a
grandparent or something like that. And a husband or wife can sometimes just cut bait and bounce.
Right.
Not everybody does. Some will stick through it and get through the other side with you.
Yeah.
But typically, in my experience, it's a parent, that just can't let go.
Yeah, that's right.
I'll never forget, that I always talk about an aha moment. My aha moment where I was like, you talk about consequences. It wasn't jail that got me. It was, I don't know, it was the middle of the day, man. I was passed out on my couch, door wide open at the house. My dad comes in. He ain't stupid.
Right.
He slaps me upside the head. And basically at that moment, he was like, it's right now. You pick your family, your daughter, your life, everything, or you do this, and you don't talk to us no more. I'm giving you the Cliff Notes version here.
Right, I'm with you.
But it was like, I had that moment of clarity. I was like, I'm going with you.
Right.
I'm going with you. And I burned a bridge with an old friend over the house and stuff at the time because I just left it as it was.
Right.
Didn't clean it up, didn't do anything, but I couldn't go back. It was it was my own personal hell that I had created.
Yeah.
And it's like if I went back, I'd like, well, I'll just stay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right. I'm with you.
And I shut that door and locked it, and that was that. Other than that fall I told you about, the going to treatment or going to a meeting one night and kind of falling off the wagon a few months into it. But other than that, and I hate that I did that, but I don't regret it because I felt so bad.
Yeah.
That I never wanted to do it again.
That conviction. You held yourself accountable, man. That conviction right there. And it also taught you a lesson that it's very easy to slip back into that.
It is. It is. Mm-hmm. And I know that, and this isn't something I talk about very often, because you don't like to give people bullets to shoot you with.
Right.
But, I had diverticulitis, stomach broke in half. Had to have, we talked about the other stuff, the colostomies and stuff like that, or colonoscopy. Right. I had a colostomy bag, multiple surgeries. A barium enema is the awake version of a colonoscopy, by the way. And so pain pills, pain pills. Yeah, battled that, and that is a different animal.
Yeah, See, I was lucky and blessed enough to where, like, when I was coming up, I ate one. The Lord said I was sick.
Yeah.
So I never got into all the pain pills, and I'm so glad because I consider talk all day about being a meth head, a meth addict, a meth junkie. I was a junkie, but that's nothing compared to opiate addictions.
No, I was able to just decide I wasn't going to smoke dope anymore.
Right.
And there was not a physical, it was a mental thing, but there was no physical. When people tell me they're addicted, I'm like, you're not addicted. You're mentally trapped, but you're not physically addicted.
Right.
Opiates
is a physical addiction.
Is a physical and mental addiction.
Yeah.
And it is hard, and, there is no easy way.
That's right.
You have to weaning yourself off without abusing the supply to get you to zero is a delicate act.
That's right.
And finally I was going to getting most of mine legally, but I was going to a pain management clinic and getting X amount a month. Right. And finally I'll never forget. I was in there one day and they have these damn little charts they give you with the different levels of smiley faces. Right. From smiley face to kind of happy to not so happy to pissed off.
Right.
How much pain are you in?
Yeah, to turn this frown upside down, And there was like circle these on a scale of 1 to 10. And I was looking at the people around me, and I'm guilty of being judgmental and being a people watcher.
Right.
It's something I deal with, and I was just looking at these people in their house robes and, you know, just looking like all they were concerned about was getting their pills. And that's all I was concerned about. You know, I wasn't concerned about the pain. I was concerned about getting my pills. And I was like, man, I was there in my suit and tie on my lunch break from work.
Right.
And I was like, what the hell are you doing, man?
Yeah.
You know, I was like, you're better than this. You know, and I won't say I just 100% quit taking them that moment, but it was at that moment where I decided.
That's when the seed was planted.
You know, that I'm not going to keep jumping through these hoops to get this medicine.
Right.
And that was really just more of the inconvenience and the mental thing to me than it was anything. I was like, I don't like this no more. Right. You know, I forgot what being unhigh, because you just look at it different when it's a pill.
Yeah.
And I know I'm talking to a bunch of people here, and y'all know what I'm talking about, because this is a demon that most people are dealing with nowadays.
I think what it is the thought that this is prescribed by a doctor.
It is. It makes it better.
Makes it better.
That's what people say when you.
Well, I was prescribed this.
Right.
It's one of my concerns with marijuana getting, you know, overly legalized. Is I don't want people to forget don't force happy.
Right.
Don't force yourself to be happy through chemicals. You know, you need to like what opiates do is they take that empathy away, and they take that. You forget what it's like to be happy and sad. You know, for real. Yeah. You know, it's like I'm kind of depressed. I'll just take a pill.
Right.
Ooh, I'm happy. You forget you're forcing a fake happy, and that can be absolutely deadly.
Yeah, I agree with
when that happy goes away.
Yeah, I agree with that.
You know, so that's something that, and I know I got a little off track there, but that was just something I wanted to get off my chest.
But, I think when we talk, we're going to continuously get off track because we're just talking.
Mm-hmm. You know, I got a ton of notes here, but they don't do me a damn bit of good. You know, because I you know, we just had a lady said she appreciates your conversation when we talked to you. So listening to Benny has helped me so much with my 36-year-old son. Thanks that he is talking. Thankful that you're talking. I mean, you know, we're talking about a lady here with a 36-year-old son.
Right. You
know, then she's learning, you know, having to how to deal with this stuff.
And you know, my heart goes out to her, man, because look here, man. You know, I did drugs with my mom, you know what I mean? So I can't say that I took my parents down through there with the drugs, you know what I mean? Because we did it together. But I've seen so many instances. I can't tell you the conversations that I've had with mothers and grandmothers about. So I get messages from people sometimes, and I try to say this to them without sounding mean, right? Mm-hmm. I get a message from somebody that say, Benny, will you please reach out to my son? He's 36, 37, 38, and he's been in that life for so long, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, no. He needs to reach out to me.
Well, yeah, it's kind of an awkward phone call too, right?
It's like,
you know, it's like,
how do I call? You know what I mean?
Hey, your mom gave me your number. Said
and I've made that call before.
Yeah.
And you know, 2 or 3 times. You
rather
know,
confrontational.
No, it's never been confrontational.
Really?
You know, and believe it or not, half the time they knew who I am. Now, you're Benny Ivey. Yeah, I know who you are. You know, well, your parents or your mom or your aunt in one case. They're worried about you, man. You know, if you need some help, but and I say, you know, maybe I did plant a seed. I don't know, but
well, I was gonna say, you know, I think that may, you know, after I take a deep breath and think about it for a second, that would make me click that. Hold on now, they just said the quiet part out loud,
right?
You know, somebody else knows. Yeah. You know,
I just know from my experience, until I was ready to reach out for help. You know what I mean? That's where it takes you back to that beating that inner demon within you. You know what I mean? That you're I'm good, thank you. Being your own worst enemy. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I've just learned that unless somebody makes the initiative themselves, you know, our family members, man, we can't get somebody clean, man. We can't. You know, I say that now. I believe in the power of prayer. You know, I believe in the power of prayer, and especially from our loved ones, you know. And I believe that prayer, God answers those prayers, and He opens up those doors, and he opens those paths for people. But that person still has to make the decisions to go, seize them opportunities, and walk that path.
You talk about prayer, and I'm probably like most people. I try my best to live my best life, you know. Mm-hmm. But there's day, I'll stay up late working on these videos and doing all this stuff, and I'll just kind of pass out almost where I'm sitting. I'll just go lay down and pass out and don't pray. I always like to end my day with prayer.
Right.
Last night, as tired as I was, I lay down in bed for a second in a conscious stream of thought. I was like, I need to pray.
Right.
Just a lot of hard work been going on lately. I need to give some thanks.
Right.
Ask for some peace. And woke up, man, this morning just was this. It's so crazy. It was like a peaceful blanket over you. Yeah. When you pray and you get a good night's sleep, and when you don't even remember what you dreamed about,
right.
good sleep. Then woke up and Brad Orman, when I was really heavily involved going over to Hickory Ridge more so than I am now.
I like him.
I do too. And I went to high school, Brad, and Terry, as I've mentioned, and it was Brad and Terry, and they were just talking about. I can't remember exactly which one said it because I'm sure they both said it, but talking about start the day off with prayer, like when your feet hit the floor from the bed, say a prayer. And I got into doing that for a while, and man, just the whole day went so much better. Or something silly, like I call it silly. I don't mean it like that, but something as simple as people post that they're having a problem on Facebook, and people are all the time saying a prayer for you.
Right. And
actually doing it.
Right. I've done got to where I make sure it might be a little 2-second prayer.
Yeah.
But if I tell you I'm going to pray for you, I'm going to pray for you right then.
Honest
so
to
that
God.
I don't forget and it don't leave my mind.
Yep.
But talking about starting your day with prayer, every morning I get up. Well, let me rephrase that. Every weekday morning, Monday through Friday, I get up. And I get up real early, 4:35, 5:30, and I handle my business at my laptop and stuff, and I walk Natalie to the bus stop, and I get her on the bus, and I walk back, and I shut my garage door, I turn my music on, and it's what I call beast mode meditation. It's workout and prayer. Every morning I start my day with workout, and I get on my knees on my workout mats, and I thank God for everything. I thank Him for the experiences that I've had all the way through. I've thanked Him for my meth addiction. I've thanked Him for prison. I've thanked Him for what's brought me. I thank Him for the life that I have now. I thank Him for what has brought me in the place where I'm at in this life right now, that I can be used as a vessel to help somebody else. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And if I start my day out, sometimes like this morning I didn't work out because I had an 8 o'clock meeting with MPIC director in prison, talk about reentry programs for people coming home.
So what is MPIC?
Mississippi Prison Industries Corporation.
Okay. Is that the private prison group?
No, so MPIC is in Parchman, Greene County, and CMC at the state facilities. And what it is they give inmates jobs, and they make like 50 cents an hour to do this, make license plates, do this or whatever. You know
Sure.
what I mean? And but he's putting together a good reentry program for people coming. They get down to 3 years of their sentence, getting out. There's no rehab. There's no rehabilitation in prison, man. Every time I went to prison, I got out with a new recipe to cook meth.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that's the type of stuff that you learn in prison. But so he says that they're wanting to start this reentry program, and people that are coming home to Jxn, he wants to link them up with us so that we can help them, get out, get them out, help them get jobs, help them get mental health help, drug treatment, whatever resources that they need that we have on the table at the time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I was in a hurry this morning, so I didn't work out. But when I got in my truck and I hit, so sometimes I probably look like a crazy man. I was riding down the road the other day, and a song come on. It was oh man, I can't even think of what song it was, man. I listen to a lot of K-Love.
Yeah.
So in the morning, sometimes if I miss my prayer, if I'm in a hurry and I leave, I turn on some K-Love. But I was riding down the road the other day, and the song come on. I started singing it, and I started crying. I felt God's presence on me so much that morning, man.
I can only imagine does that to me.
It does.
If I can only imagine comes on, it's like, dang it.
Right. Look, I promise you, man. And I wasn't just bawling, but, I choked up and tears came to my eyes and streamed down my face, and I wiped them. I said, thank you, Jesus. Thank you for that. Thank you for that reassurance. You know what I mean? That I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. You know, I don't know. Nobody knows God's will, and nobody can say, I know that, you know, but I strongly feel that what I'm doing in my life is the whole reason God put me here.
Yeah, if it ever quits making you cry, that's when you got to reevaluate.
Right. Something ain't right.
You know, and that was one of the things that I noticed when I was taking, you know, 3, 4, 5, 6 lower sets a day. You know, it was I was really numb to emotion. Yeah. You know, and just like
you just didn't feel anything.
You just kind of start watching the clock. It's like, is it time to take another pill?
Right.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And you know, and when I quit, I just remember being like uber emotional a lot, because it was like you're learning how to manage your feelings and emotions and stuff again. Yeah. And you know, I mean, it sounds silly, and people who haven't dealt with it, I understand if y'all want to laugh at me, but it's something real. You know, when you start having to, it's almost like, I guess I could compare it somewhat to, from a mental standpoint, to like somebody who has been in a coma for a while. They got to learn how to walk again. Right. You know, like that muscles don't work no more. They learn, their arms been broke. They got to learn how to use their memory, nerve stuff again. It's very comparable to that, because it's like, oh crap, I got to learn how to be happy on my own again. Right. Yeah. Deal with being sad or depressed or handling stuff, you know?
Right, and that's a big thing about getting clean off drugs. Any drugs, meth, heroin, anything, is getting in tune with your emotions again, man. Yeah. Because a lot of people use those drugs to cover up those emotions. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
And, yeah, I understand exactly what you're saying, man.
You know, or if it's meth, you know, it's like, oh, I just had a bad thought. Give me the pipe. You know, twist the chalet. You know, I mean, it's all over the place. You know, so
Courtney is asking what Benny's thoughts are on Suboxone.
So let me ask that, because she's way over there and it doesn't show it. You can't always hear it. So one of our commenters, Courtney asked, "What are your thoughts on Suboxone?"
Okay, first off, let me be clear. This is my opinion and nothing more. Right? I do not have all the answers to anything. I've spoken to people who have said that Suboxone has helped them. And so I don't want to sound like stepping on nobody's toes. I feel like it's swapping one drug for another. And the reason I say that now, you know, and don't get me wrong, you know, I've heard people say that it has been a miracle drug to help them, but they're still taking it. And that's something you're supposed to use to wean you off of that. And I've seen people personally abuse Suboxone to the point to where it's just another drug.
You're supposed to take it for small.
And it's supposed to wean you off. You're supposed to get to where you can take a smaller amounts, and then you're clean. That's what it's made for. But I see people that get on it and never get off of it, and they use it like any other drug, just like they're doing pain pills and stuff, you know. And not everybody's like that. No, right. But that I've seen way more of that than I have the positive. In my life.
And same with methadone.
Same thing, same concept. You know.
Well, they should. Why is there a methadone clinic? You know, I mean, I know why, but if all you got to do is go stand in the line and get your methadone for the day, right? And I've been there with, you know, never for myself, but I've taken people there, and I've just thought, why? This is the same thing.
It's the same thing to me too, man.
Other than you're not going to go to jail for it.
And I don't want to say that, and somebody watch this and get discouraged because they're using it to get clean, man. So I want to say, man, everybody's different. You know what I mean? And I understand that. That's my opinion from what I've witnessed personally throughout my life.
Well, you can abuse anything.
You can abuse anything. That's right.
Use the Suboxone as a step in the road. You know, not as the new road.
That's right.
You know, I mean, it's like you use it as part of the, you know.
It should be a short term.
Yeah, it should be. And I know and the doctors, just like I say, everybody is a unique individual. Mm-hmm. Nobody is the same. Even identical twins are their own unique individual. You know what I mean? So everybody's plan won't be the same. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? But there needs to be a plan in place to wean you off of that to where you're not on it forever. You know, and I see some people, they get on it and they don't have any intention of ever stopping. And
No.
to me, that's counterproductive.
It's just a replacement.
A replacement. I agree.
Yeah, you know, and I know some people who have called me over the years, and they're like, "Man, you know where I can get me Suboxone?" I'm like, well, "Why the hell you want Suboxone? If you're calling somebody who's, you know, just finding somebody that's got some damn Lorcets,
Right.
you know, so or whatever,
Right.
You know, I mean, if you're calling somebody that's not your doctor to ask where Suboxone is at, you're probably doing it wrong.
Exactly right. You done it all up. Now you ain't got nothing. It's the same thing, same concept.
Yeah, you know, it's just trading one thing for another. I remember, man, I got a buddy of mine, I'm not going to mention anybody's names here when I talk about people in, you know, recovery and stuff, because I don't want to put people's business out there like that. But I got a buddy of mine that I ended up working with, and he was bragging about how he didn't drink anymore. You know, that was his addiction. Was alcohol. He was an alcoholic.
Right.
And he had swapped that for being a marathon runner, and you know, just running till his feet bled. You know, and
Right.
was missing a lot of work to go run and do all these
What in
things.
the world?
And he was kind of busting my chops, running all these marathons
You
and
can
stuff.
get a runner's high.
Yeah,
Right.
and
Yeah.
oh, you
Oh.
absolutely can.
Yeah, I have.
And-
Look, yeah, I got a treadmill in my garage, and
Mhm.
I don't hardly get on it as much as I did. But I used to make a point to, you know, I'm 44 years old. I get on there and run 3 or 4 miles. I'm on cloud 9.
Man, I get off the treadmill, and I mean, I ain't done it in a while, but I get off the treadmill, dude. That is like the only way I can compare that to anybody that manages. That's like waking up and doing a bump in the mornings.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
I mean, you get it is wake and bake,
And
man.
yeah, and look, I have learned. I promise you, the treadmill,
Especially in the mornings.
Yeah, the mornings. That's the best time to run.
Yep. You know, and
I
I'm telling
agree.
you,
I say that, and I ain't running so long. I swear, I sing like look.
me either. I shouldn't be telling nobody about this right now, but you know, look, if you're listening to this right now and you're battling that this is something that Benny I know will vouch for me on. If you were trying to battle some addiction or whatever it may be, if you can pivot that into the gym, that energy,
Yeah.
that outlet, that gym can save your life.
Man, look, I don't know. I was gonna say this a while ago. Whenever you was talking about your sponsor,
The gym at Byram.
the gym at Byram, but you went through it and we jumped into something else. I'm a strong advocate of working out. So, and it don't matter how you work out. So I got a full gym at my house. I got free weights. I got Smith machine. I got everything. But I've recently had a shoulder injury right here. So I get on my weight bench and put 185 or something on it. I can't hardly something right here.
Yeah.
I can't hardly something. Ooh, so I've been doing push-ups.
That rotator cuff.
Look, well, this is something right here.
Yeah, well, mine that's where I tore mine at, right where it met the bicep.
Is it?
Mm-hmm.
So, and it only hurts when I push like that. So I haven't been able to bench press. I've been doing push-ups.
Yeah,
I forgot how much I love doing push-ups.
sure.
You know, being locked up in county jails and stuff, man. I used to do I could do 500 push-ups in 15 minutes.
No kidding.
I would drop down and do sets of 50.
I couldn't do 5 push-ups right now.
I used to could do sets of 50. I can't do that no more.
Yeah.
Shoot, no, my first set's 40, and then it drops off from there. You know, I think my last set's 15. But it makes you feel so much better, man. It makes you starts your day off better. You know, I was getting up at 4:30 in the morning and working out. Thank God, I've been able to change my schedule, and I work out at 7 o'clock in the morning now.
Yeah.
And if there's any way possible, and I brought up the thing about weights and push-ups, because you do not have to have a weight bench. You do not have to have all that stuff. You can do push-ups, you can run, and it'll just make you feel so much better. So I ain't gonna make nobody feel guilty. I'm gonna get on off of that.
No, but I'm just saying, you know, get on there and man, you can transition that. But finishing up about my buddy, we were sitting out there at the dealership one day, and he was busting my chops about partying and you know and everything. And I said, well, man, all you did was trade one addiction for another. I know you think it's healthy because you're running, but if it's still taking time away from your family, and you're missing work, and you're doing all these things to go run,
Right?
what's the damn difference? I know you've convinced yourself it's healthy, and I'm not telling you it ain't. But if it is taking over your life, it's still an addiction.
Right. It's still an addiction. I agree.
Which in hindsight, I probably should have handled that a little differently. but I was just making a point that, you know, a lot of us, we trade one addiction for another, but
Yeah.
anytime you could trade drugs for physical fitness, that's
That's a win-win right
yeah,
there.
you may just have an addictive personality and you got to plug it into something.
Right.
You know.
That's a whole lot better to plug into that gym than it is that meth pipe.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Or shopping.
Yeah, or shopping.
Or shopping.
Look, now, retail therapy is a mofo.
Or shopping, Christina.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Man, look, so something I wanted to ask you about, and we talked about it privately last time in the kitchen, and this is a hard transition here, but you, in one of your stories, or in one of your interviews, not stories, that you would do with somebody, you spoke about an event that maybe kind of really led you down the road of drugs and stuff, and it was your friend Jimmy.
Yeah.
Is that something you're comfortable talking about?
Yeah.
So, I'll give a little backstory here. How old were you?
I was 21.
21.
He was 20. Our birthday was the same day, April 20th.
Man, at 420.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure you've heard that before.
All my,
So, Benny had a friend, close friend, commit suicide in the house while he was there.
right in front of me.
And right in front of you.
Yeah.
And you know, and when I read that, man, that was just something that really jumped off the computer screen at me. And I mean, I wrote it down and I wanted to get into it last time. But just outside of the obvious of, holy crap, this just happened.
Yeah.
You know, what did that do to you? You know, I mean, what did that lead you? Were you already, I guess you were already doing drugs and messing around some, but was that a pivot point?
It was. I was already out there doing drugs, living that life, that thug life that I learned from my parents. But when that happened that day, man, everything changed. I went on a crash course then. I would kick doors in, didn't care if anybody was at home, rob people in broad daylight. You know, I was. That affected me so bad, so negatively, that I didn't care if I died.
Does that rob you of your humanity a little bit? You think? Is that the way? Am I saying that right?
Yeah, you're saying it right, man. I watched my best friend put a gun to his head and pull the trigger, man, and there was so much blood, man. It just it rocked me. I jumped in the bed with him and I cradled him, and police and ambulances got there like that.
Yeah. Was this in Jackson?
This is in Jackson, South Jackson, McDowell Road
So
Extension.
21, was it in 94, 95, somewhere in that neighborhood?
This was in 96.
96.
No, excuse me, 97. He passed away in 97. And man, that from my road from that day forward, it was downhill. It was a downward spiral. That happened July 97. By March, I was locked up. They had me on house burglars all the way from Rankin to Hines County.
It's about 9 months there, something like that.
Aggravated assault in Copiah County.
7.
So whenever that happened, after that happened, I caught all type of felonies. I didn't care about nothing. All I cared about was sticking a needle in my arm, kicking somebody's door in, take a gun, take jewelry. I think I wanted somebody to shoot me.
Yeah.
You know?
Almost kind of suicide by cop type situation, just a strong man. I mean, I know people are like, man, Clay, you're kind of being Captain Obvious there, but I think when you talk about the trials and the things that happen in life, I think it's a very important chapter. And when people just want, maybe people may just want to look at Benny and his story and be like, that's just another guy that went and did drugs and made his own bed. Now he got to sleep in it. But there's things that happen along the way that you don't expect.
That's right.
You know, they can happen to anybody. And I'm telling y'all, this is a learning experience. When you start doing drugs and you start altering your mind state, you could be Benny and have to live with what he saw that day, or you could be Jimmy that ends it that day, and leaves a wake, a butterfly effect.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't know. I'm not saying drugs were involved with him. I don't know. You know.
Yeah, that's all we did, man.
So
he went and stayed the night at this girl's house the night before, and she called us. She paged me. Excuse me, I had a pager.
Yeah.
And we ran up to
Jetta Page.
Yeah, we ran up to the payphone to call her, and she said, y'all need to come over here and get Jimmy. Because he come over here last night eating Xanaxes and crying about a certain situation I'm not going to get into.
Sure.
And because it involves his family. And, said, you just need to come get him. So I went over and got him. And took him to the house. We went somewhere that morning. That morning, me and him went and stole a pistol. The pistol that he killed himself with is a gun that I stole that morning. I stole it. We go back to the house, and I go in there and I put the gun up under my mattress, and, I'm just trying to talk him out of this. He's in this, the night before he was eating Xanaxes, so he still had that sloppy head about him, you know, and we were sitting on my couch, and he asked me if he could, if I had a notebook and a pen. He wanted to write his little boy a letter. So I give him the notebook, a pen, and, I'm like, well, your little boy's 14 months old. You think he's going to read this, bro? I'm trying to lighten him up. He said, he will one day, man, and it just never occurred to me what was on his mind, and but then he asked if he'd go lay down in my bed. I said, yeah, go lay down, bro. I'm going to make sure we went and picked him up because we was trying to lighten him up and get him in a good mood. And we picked that gun up that morning, and he knew it was under my bed, man. And
he'd already made his mind up.
And that didn't just rock me. I think it rocked everybody. It was me, and I was married at the time. I got married when I was 19 like an idiot. And, it rocked her friend who Jimmy went to stay with that night before. This girl named Shay that lived with us, we were all there. And in the police, whenever they came in, man, they get there and they come and they pull me out of the bed. They immediately start working on Jimmy. I knew he was gone before they even got there. I was looking him in his face and I was trying to talk to him. And
did they treat you like a suspect?
Yeah, but they should have.
Yeah.
So they took me to the living room. They did gunshot residue tests on everybody's hands. And the only one that had fired a weapon was Jimmy. But what was bad was, so whenever they took Jimmy out in a stretcher, we were all sitting, like me and Shonda were kneeling down in the kitchen, living room floor, and Cheryl and Shay was sitting on I just gave everybody's name, didn't I? They were sitting on the couch, and the police gets he steps outside, and he comes back in and says, all right, your buddy's dead. Y'all got to clean that mess up, and turn around and walk back out. Cheryl jumped up screaming, and, so they left, man, and so I got Shonda and I got the rest of them to leave. Y'all leave and go to my little cousin's house, tell them what happened, bring help, whatever. So I was going to go in there and get this mattress. It was on my bed. And you'll never know how much blood happens behind something like it. It soaked through my mattress to the box spring below. And I went to go clean this mess up. And I think that affected me just as bad as the incident itself.
No, I would think that seeing that, and especially having to do that part, that I didn't know that part. But to hear that would really numb you up moving forward to making some of the decisions you were making seem like I've done seen the worst. There's nothing else I'm gonna see.
It desensitizes.
That's the word.
And for a long time, I would hear rumors. I'm in prison. Most of the life I'm in prison, and somebody come in and say, "Man, I heard you killed your best friend." I'm like, "Man, you say that again, I'm gonna slap taste out your mouth." But people were saying that back here. I'm in prison. I had no way to defend myself. Then 15, 16 years later, I get out and I'm living my life. I'm doing good, and then I've gotten messages from people, his family members. And don't get me wrong. There's some of his family members they know that I didn't do this. Yeah. I think most of them now know, but there was a couple of them, and I would get messages about how and after you see something like that and it affects you so strongly, to have to come home and listen to people that have accused you for 15, 16, 17 years of doing this to your best friend. He was my road dog.
Yeah.
He was my homeboy. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And it's a messed up situation.
So you deal with that, and you can understand their I can where they're at, you know, but when it's you that they're saying it to, it's like, how did we get here? You know, It's like I feel your pain, but I carry that pain too.
Yeah, you know, I understand. You know that I had to witness that. You know, but anyway, you know. So back to what you were saying, you don't know what people go through. You know, and that's why I like that incident happening and all the other incidents, all the other things that I've been through in my life. You know, homelessness. Straight junkyism. I'm gonna say junkyism, not addiction. You know, because I would, whatever.
It's another level.
I've done a shot of dope with Mountain Dew before because I didn't have water. You know what I'm saying? When you get to that level, and it was around. I was doing that around right after Jimmy killed himself. You know, I didn't care. I didn't care about anything, man. And so now I see people through that lens. So, like, now when I see people, I know they're addicted to drugs, and I know, or I see them homeless, or I see just whatever, you know what I mean? I understand that person's been through some stuff. That person is going through some stuff. You know what I mean? I'm clean. I'm a business owner. I'm a husband. I'm a father. I got strong arms of Jxn. I got all this stuff going on in my life. But I was that person before. I was that individual. I had those same issues, those same demons. You know what I mean? And I want to always accept people. Have compassion. That's the main thing. You know, have compassion. And so, you know, whenever I meet people or I see people, and that's the way I want to treat them. Mm-hmm. Treat them like people, not addicts. Not criminals, not thugs, you know what I mean? Because everybody has their own story, and there's incidents in everybody's story that have molded them to be where they're at.
Yeah, you know, I'm glad you got to tell everybody that, or that you were comfortable enough having that conversation, because I think it's in the story arc of your life. I think it helps people maybe paint a picture of why you ended up down the road. And some of the decisions and stuff that you make, and I think it's very important for people to understand. There's so many layers, to going through the life that you went through,
right?
And other people that have been through similar things. It's not just I started getting high at a party, and just decided to stay high for 20 years. It's these things and these life altering events, and your life could be a movie more so than just a book.
Yeah,
you know, and you got stuff like that. I was going to read one thing here. A buddy of mine is a fireman, and he says, police, fire, EMS sees suicides almost every day. They don't have the personal connection that Benny and his friend, but they do see the aftermath, and they are there when the family finds the bodies. It's emotionally draining, and it causes them to distance themselves from their family and friends. And it definitely desensitizes you.
I have heard that before about first responders. I have, man, and I couldn't. You know, they have my utmost respect. You know, law enforcement, first responders. You know, whenever I spoke with Brett McAlpin. You know who that is?
The last name is familiar.
He's a narcotics officer in Rankin County.
Okay.
Whenever I got busted that last time, that opened my eyes. And he was telling me about a situation that they showed up at, where this young kid, 20-year-old kid or whatever, had wrecked his truck, and he was drunk, and he lived with his grandmother, and he was yelling and screaming about getting me a new truck, and he went and got the shotgun out the closet upstairs and was coming down the stairs and put it up and said, if you don't get me a new truck, I'm gonna blow my. And he accidentally hit the trigger. And said whenever they got there, the old lady was walking around picking up pieces of this kid's head and asking the police, can they put him back together? Oh. You know, I can't imagine having a job in which that's the type of stuff I have to roll up on when I get a call at any given day, any given time. You know what I mean? Because not only do you see that, you have to witness this lady just watched her grandson do that to himself. And you know, what kind of state of mind are you in if you're walking around picking up pieces of your grandson's head, asking this officer, can you put him back together again?
You're just shocked.
So, man, my heart goes out, and I have 100% respect to everybody, all first responders that have to do that, man.
Yeah, you know, I'm telling you, that is one of the, we all know that they go through that. I think we all understand that that's potentially a thing that they're going to have to deal with when you go into that line of work. But there's no preparing yourself for that. Like, you get up today, and you're like, I could get a cat out of a tree, or I could see a lady walking around picking up her grandson's, you know, that. And what a roller coaster, potential roller coaster. I know we're getting a little off track here, but it just, to manage the emotions to do that.
Yeah. And
get up every day and do it again.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, don't go to an EMT with your little daily, or a nurse, you know, like Crystal there, you know, when you're working in the hospital, you know, they're not gonna be as what's the word I'm looking for? Emotional about your bad day.
Right.
You know, and people like yourself who have seen such trauma, you know, it's like, you're gonna have to pull your boot pants up a little bit and work through some of this stuff.
Yeah. Not
you, but talking about other folks.
I get it.
You know, it's like, man, until you've seen some of the things I've seen and gone through some things I've done, you know, your bad day pales in comparison. Yeah. You can be grateful that you still have the rest of your day to pray, and
that's right.
You know, and I know I'm getting a little sideways here, and because when I think this is about something that traumatic, you know, I don't articulate it very well.
Well, you know, but I want to just spin off of what you're saying.
Yeah.
The program, Strong Arms of Jxn program, we're adopting a model from a Cure Violence. That's the name of the model. And it's looking at disease as an epidemic. And it's looking at violence as a disease epidemic. And that's because, like you said, you know, the trauma that that some people go through by the things that they witness and the things that they live through, that's contagious. Not contagious like a cough or something, you know what I mean? But if you are in an environment where you live that way all day and that's what you see, that's what you're going to be.
Is it like PTSD, basically?
Right, you know what I mean? So if you living let's just say you live in South Jackson, West Jackson, and every day this is what you see: violence. You see your daddy beating up your mama, right? You see homeboy just shot your cousin down the street the next day, and this is an everyday thing that you're going through. That trauma that you're dealing with, you're going to duplicate it. You're going to be the person. You're going to be that product of your environment.
They talk a lot of times about, especially in the same areas, about breaking the cycle of poverty.
Right.
You know, the somewhat you have to break that family cycle of poverty,
that generational curse,
and that violence and trauma, and it's one of the things I talk about all the time. I say this 10 times a week: is we cannot let people condition themselves to thinking that what's going on in Jackson right now is normal.
Right.
Like, we cannot get so numb to what's going on here that we think it's normal or just the way life goes.
And see, it's funny that you said it that way, because that is the goal is to change. The actual word that we use is change social norms. All right, because when you live in that environment so long on a day in and day out basis, all day, this becomes your norm. That is the normal way of living. That is the normal life that you're used to. So in order to break that cycle, you have to detect it, interfere it. You have to detect the source.
Yeah.
Right? Detect, you have to interfere, like step in. So we're going to have people in place called violence interrupters. Violence interrupter is someone, let's just say we're talking about Verdon Dishing. All right? Because there's all these different communities in Jackson. A violence interrupter is somebody who's from the Verdon Dishing, lived there all their life, had been in a gang, been the drug dealer, been this, been that, whatever, right? But they're not that no more. They're older, they're wiser, they've been able to actually leave that life alone, but they still have that influence, right? They still have that clout in the neighborhood, right? They can de-escalate violence. That's the people in the neighborhoods that can say, hang on, bro, hang on, what you doing, man? Come on, no. You know, and they people listen to them.
You about to screw up and go and do
right.
what I did.
Burn your whole life.
Right, and they will listen to them before they gonna listen to Officer Friendly. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So that violence interrupter, his job is to detect the at-risk people, detect the people in his neighborhood that is going to be the shooter or the one that will be the one getting shot. Interfere that violent. Interfere. Be that interrupter. Interrupt that, and step into that person's life.
Let me paint an immediate situation. Last night, Canton, Mississippi, 5 immediate lives changed forever.
Yeah.
The shooter, the person who died, the 3 others who got shot. And think about how many people that too, the witnesses. But think about how many families are affected from those 5 down.
That's right.
You know, the 3 that got shot, you know, they may survive and be just fine, but they'll still have that traumatic experience.
Right.
You know, but still, if somebody could have got to that man, you know,
and beforehand. And see, that's the thing, beforehand.
Yeah.
Beforehand. That's the key word. The key word is beforehand. Mm-hmm. If we can get our violence interrupted,
of course, you can't predict it, but if you can just
now, you know, nobody's going to stop every single shooting.
But something triggered that.
Something triggered that.
You know,
and if there would have
he
been
went
somebody,
there to do that.
It's not right. If there would have been somebody that knew that there was something
beef
happened,
going on,
they could have stepped to him and said, "Say, look here, bro. You know what I mean? Be that violence interrupter." And by interrupting this stuff, but at the same time, when you interrupt somebody's life like that, and you talk to them and get them to, you know, you need to be doing this, bro. You know, you need to be getting into school. You need to have them resources available to help that person with that.
Absolutely.
Don't just tell them, oh, well, you need to get off drugs and you need to get a job. Well, hell, where you gonna get me in rehab? You gonna get me a job? If you don't
I need to win the lottery today.
If you don't have them resources, then you're just pointing down at somebody talking about what you need to do.
Yeah.
You know, our program, we're gonna have them resources in place.
Yeah.
We're gonna have drug counselors, mental health programs. We got a work readiness program we're launching right now to put.
But like
people
you're
to
saying
work.
that you've got connections. You can get somebody in rehab right now. They want to go.
Exactly
You
right.
know, it's being ready to not just talk about it, but be about it.
But be about it.
You know,
That's
and
right.
I don't want to come across, you know, and I'm talking to the people here. I don't want to come across like I feel like I have the answers. I'm trying to open my mind up and learn what's really going on and what people are doing to try to fix it.
And you know, that's what it's gonna take, Clay, bro. It's gonna take the open mind. Everybody's so stuck on, you know. I know sometimes I keep going back to, like, I used to be hard right wing, and you know, and now I see all different perspectives. That's because I stepped outside my comfort zone and I searched that out. I wanted to know, you know, what can I really do? What can I do to help? What can I do to make a difference? You know, and God has put all these opportunities in front of me, man, and it's brought me to where I'm at. Because, you know, I understand now. I understand 100% that we can make a difference.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We can make a difference, and that one perspective is not. You know, you need Democrats and Republicans. Like right now, our Strong Arms of Jackson program. You know, we need all hands on deck. Mm-hmm. We need white folks, black folks, Mexican folks. It don't matter who it is. Everybody has something that they can do to pitch in and help this situation. You know what I'm saying? Because Jackson's our capital city.
Yeah.
It's our capital city, man. It's always going to be our capital city.
You know, and that's what I tell people all the time. I'm like, I don't mind people from outside the immediate city limits talking about Jackson as long as they're willing to
do something.
Because
Right.
it is our capital city. And
Right.
I get aggravated when people who live in this environment get mad at people. You don't live here. You don't get to say nothing.
Right.
We're not talking about an isolated suburb here.
Right, we're talking
about the capital city.
We are talking about the capital
These
city.
suburbs
That's
don't
right.
exist if they're not connected to the capital city.
That's right.
You know, so it is very important for people to have pride in the capital city.
Yeah.
It's very important for people to feel safe coming to the capital city. You know, one of the things we talked about the other night was, like, and I don't want to get too far off from what you were saying, but me and Chris were talking about it last night on the show, or night before last, and it was, people got to feel safe that live in Jackson to shop in Jackson.
Yeah.
And to spend money and to get that tax money back rolling, so that some of these programs can be implemented in places and you can get some help from the city. And I know that's not where y'all's money comes from, but I'm just painting big picture here.
Right. And now, don't get me wrong, we are hoping to at some point be funded by city or state or hopefully federal.
Get more, and the city can afford more police and more mental health experts and whatnot. Right. But the cities, people got to feel safe. To hell with coming from Pearl to Jackson to spend money. People that live in Jackson got to feel safe to not want to go to Pearl to spend money.
Right.
That's right. I mean, that's where Jackson's at right now. Is people that live here just live here.
Right.
They're not getting out spending money in the community because they don't feel safe doing it.
That's right. We went to last night. Me and my Strong Arm brothers and Christina and a couple of their wives went to. Thalliamar Hall, Deion Sanders was holding a little event there called Heal America.
Yeah, I read a thing about it. And within the first paragraph, they used the word race and racism and police misconduct 3 or 4 times. It kind of lost me. I was like, we're talking about a city that's 90% black. Right. At some point, we're going to have to quit playing the race card here. And
I agree with that.
Look inward versus outward, and we got to quit that.
Right.
I'm not saying what they weren't doing, what they were doing there wasn't from the heart and wasn't a good thing. But at some point, Jackson, Mississippi can't blame nothing else going on here.
But Jackson, Mississippi. I agree with that.
We got to get past this racist boogeyman nonsense in Jackson, Mississippi.
Right.
It ain't white folks coming over here with hoods on causing the damage in Jackson, Mississippi.
Right. I agree with that.
I read it in a 1 paragraph news story about it. They used the word racial or police violence 3 times. I was like, I just can't take it serious.
Right.
I can't take this serious.
Well, they came, man, and so Deion, he took Jackson State job. Well, in Dallas, they have a violence interrupter program.
Yeah.
Just like what we're building here. And so what they did was he came here and he sought out some church leaders and asked the church leaders who were some leading people in their community. So they put him into touch with some people that that they feel have a little.
I've seen him working with Benz and Jacktown Bud and some of them cats. Mm-hmm. He's plugged in with people who are plugged into the community, and I appreciate it as a football coach what he's doing.
Right.
And I know that Heal America thing is it's kind of a traveling deal.
It's traveling. It goes from state to state, right? But what they're doing, so he came and he had the meeting with these people. And I'm not saying nothing about them, that's Northside Lee and Kansas, great, and they some good dudes, and they out there, they doing stuff. But we're already building a violence interrupter program. Been building it for a couple of years, So the thing that they come to talk about this thing called OG University, Original Gangster University, which is a violence interrupter program they have in Dallas, and it's a successful program. Mm-hmm. So we went to this thing last night, and we're listening to them, and we're looking at each other, and we're like, well, is he coming down here to try to push this violence interrupter program? Because too late, buddy. We're already trying to get that together.
Yeah.
But so at first I was thinking, well, this dude's kind of stepping on our toes here. You know what I mean? We're trying to get people, and he's trying to come here and start something completely different. But then I realized it's all hands on deck.
I was about to say, there's enough to go around.
Right, exactly. It's all hands on deck.
This is a job. This ain't a job. It's a volunteer.
Exactly. Right. And I don't care if they call themselves Strong Arms of Jackson or if they call themselves OG University. I don't give a damn what they call themselves. If they can launch some stuff in these communities and right along with us, more the better.
If they can interrupt one act of violence.
Damn right. Come on.
We ain't got 5 people lives changed forever at McDonald's.
Right.
And I'm just using that as an example because it's the most recent crazy asinine thing that's happened around here.
Yeah.
I'm thinking that because you feel like, hey man, we're kind of here.
Right.
Why don't you just kind of holler? Why don't we team up?
Right. But but they did though. So they came here and at first had this meeting with all these people, but then they had the ear to the ground in Jackson a little bit since they've been here a little bit. And that's thing they called us and we went and had a private meeting with Deion's crew yesterday before that. Thing, you know what I mean? And so we had a conversation and found out what was going on, and that's when we learned that they're down here pushing this violence interrupter program. That's when they learned that we already building a violence interrupter program, but they had already had their tour set up. So you know what I mean? And
he ain't from if you don't know, you don't know.
You don't know. That's right. But hey, the more the better, man. We'll welcome anybody and everybody that wants to.
Yep.
To pitch in and help with this work.
It's why I push social media so hard and growing as big of a platform as possible, because you don't want to go back into that whole tree falling in the woods. Like we
Right.
talked about, people recognize you when you go places. People recognize me when we go places. And it lets me know that the message is getting out there.
That's right.
Like this is not a tree falling in a forest.
Yeah.
It's
It's like I told you earlier. I took Natalie to the dentist, and we was in the dentist, and the nurse come out, and I can't remember your name if you're watching. I'm sorry, I'm old. But that's what she said. She said, "Hey Benny, I saw you on Clay's show last week. I'm gonna watch it again tomorrow."
That's awesome.
The message, that is how the message gets out.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you. Like I said, we also load these videos. They don't stream live to YouTube, but as soon as you leave, I jump on the iPad and
Right.
I'm here another hour or so,
Right.
loading it to YouTube and doing the descriptions and all that. And Crystal's like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "I know it's not quote unquote a job, but it's work.
It is work. Yeah.
But and I say that to say, I still people are reaching out to us on YouTube,
right.
in the comment sections, and I don't even know if I sent you the message. I think I did. I sent you a message like this one girl said she basically considered her whole life like she was kind of a gypsy, and had been through hell and back, and is moving back to Jackson and is afraid she's going to have to live in one of the worst parts of South Jackson because it's all she's going to be able to afford, and she's scared. And I'm like, well, when you get back, let us all know, and we're going to make sure that people know you're here.
Right.
Yeah. And know that people are watching you, watching out for you.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe help her get into a better place.
And that helps people.
People
man.
are reaching out.
Look, I don't care how tough you are, man. Everybody needs somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody needs to know that somebody cares about them, man.
Yeah, pick up a phone and be like, "Hey, I'm scared."
Right. And I've been that person who I don't give a damn what nobody thinks of me.
Yeah.
That's a lie.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lie. We all want somebody to care about us, man. And
oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, it's been one of the unintended consequences of this pandemic is I think a lot of people are finding out that they can't do it by themselves. These insular people, that like to be alone all the time, are learning that I like to be alone all the time by choice.
Right.
Not because I have to.
Hey, look. I love some alone time.
But
that's one good thing about them early mornings that my computer's just.
I like it sporadically.
Right.
Like I love it, man. I can go hide in my room for a couple of days, but the minute I want some human interaction, I want it.
Yeah. That's right.
We went to the fair last Tuesday to see Great White and Slaughter and stuff, and man, I realized that it was the first time we got to mingle with friends since our wedding, dang near.
Right.
Because once we got done with the wedding in December, we had Christmas and New Year, and just family stuff. Boom, 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 boom. And hadn't got back out and done anything with our friends.
Right.
And we're sitting there in one of the beer tents, just kind of chilling, hanging out. And I'm like, holy cow. I was like, this is the first time Crystal's met some of these friends.
Right.
Like, man, I realize how much I miss that human interaction.
Yeah.
Outside of just family, there's that social stuff. And you talk about people needing people to care for them. Imagine the people who aren't married, or don't have family close.
Yeah.
People who are kind of out there in the world. Imagine where you were at in your life, at one point, just being trapped in a house and nobody being able to come over and not being able to go anywhere and having to wear a damn mask and just everything else going on.
Yeah.
There's somebody out there by themselves right now that ain't got nobody. And they're turning back to drugs. Maybe they were just getting clean and they're working the program. And I've talked to some other people about this, that they're having to do it was actually a YouTuber that I ran across called like the Nerdist or something like that.
Right.
And he was talking about there's a lot of people. He left California because of his sobriety. He's been sober 8 years and can't go to meetings in California right now. They were having to do them online.
Right.
Him and his wife up and moved one state over or something. So because they could afford to, and a lot of people can't.
Right.
But B, he said because he needed to get back in to meetings.
Yeah, that's detrimental to some people, man.
Yeah.
I personally, I never did meetings of any sort.
I didn't either.
That's why, I'm not even going to get into the whole disease choice thing. You know what I mean? I'm just going.
Everybody's different.
Right. Everybody's different.
We had a good conversation about this not too long ago.
But I didn't have to have a doctor give me nothing to heal me.
That is as controversial as this presidential debate that's on behind us.
Right. Exactly.
That disease, is it a choice or a cure? Is addiction a choice or a disease conversation?
This is what I've come the conclusion I've come to on that conversation. For me, it was a choice. At the end of the day, I chose to get clean. I did not go to a doctor. I did not, you know what I mean? I didn't have to take medicine. So to me, it was a choice. At the same time, if they have to call it a disease to make insurance companies cover treatment, then call it a damn disease.
I'm with you. And
you know what I mean? And if people, if that helps people stay clean and sober by saying it's a disease and they going through them steps and stuff, then I'm all for it. Go for it. You know, because like you said, everybody's different. Nobody's the same.
You know, I've said that to myself, and I think I've said it to Crystal in some form or another. But to hear you say it like that really paints that, because I'm a diehard, die in the wool. It's a damn choice, not a disease. You can.
And I'm more open-minded about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, and again, you're right. Let's not get it.
I think it starts as a choice. Well,
Yeah.
I'll just say that.
Yeah. I don't know. We can save that one for another. We'll save that one because
we don't agree on everything.
No. I don't like agreeing on everything. I think agreeing on everything puts you in a bad spot.
Yeah, well, I ain't gonna be no yes man, and I don't want nobody around me to be no yes man either. I want to be actually authentic. I want to know how you really feel about stuff.
Yeah.
I think it starts as a choice.
Sure.
Right.
Well, look, we just hit the 2 hour mark.
Oh,
on the dot.
Ooh.
2 hours and 23 seconds. Benny, tell us all about your upcoming event, Sunday, the Unity in the Community. Where is it at? What time? How can they reach out?
Okay, so Sunday we're having our second Unity in the Community rally. It's going to be at Westland Plaza in West Jackson. We're going to have a food truck there. We're going to have music. And it's about bringing awareness to the community to let everybody know that we are inviting everybody to come help with this epidemic of violence that's going on in Jackson.
What time does it start?
2 o'clock.
2 o'clock.
It starts at 2 o'clock. We'll try to have it wrapped up by 4. And it is a means of getting people to come out.
Let me ask this, because I know there's going to be some people that ask, will there be, people have their preconceived notions of Jackson? Will there be some security out there, some police presence? But surely with strong arms to Jackson, it ain't going to be necessary. Y'all are the security.
Right.
Y'all are the security.
Yeah,
so and I know that I ask that facetiously because I know people are going to have their...
Right. Let me say this. So I'm pro law enforcement. I believe 1,000,000% in the need for law enforcement.
Yeah.
But as strong arms of Jackson, we'll be working with people that don't want to be around no police. So there will be a soft partnership with the police department at some point when we get fully implemented, so that they're not harassing people that we're working with, so that if they
people you're trying to help.
Right, and you know, and Chief Davis is on board with us. He agrees, you know what I mean? But when we have rallies, when we have cookouts, we have get-togethers, 99% of the time the police will not be there, because we're not rubbing elbows with the police now.
Yeah.
Because we don't want, if we're trying to get this brother over here to see what we're doing and come on over here and listen to what we got to say, he can't think we working for the police.
Very valid.
Because he is not gonna come. The people that we're trying to help will not accept our help if they think we working with the police.
That's a great answer. Great answer there. And I get that, because it's easy to put myself in the shoes of a 43-year-old white guy who gets up and goes to work every day.
Right.
And take myself kind of out of the urban, hood part of it.
Right.
25-year-old, 22-year-old, whatever, young black male.
Right. If they see this rally we're having on Westland Plaza and they see the police there, they're not going to come to our rally.
No.
They think they're going to harass.
Right. They had some guys on stage last night at Dion's, the guys that they had the meeting that met up with and all. And one of them said that. He said, we want to help. We want to do what we can to help. But we don't want the police harassing us because they know what type of history we have. And so we got to have that relationship where they understand that we're trying to help. We're trying to do, you know what I mean?
It's a complicated relationship.
It's a complicated relationship.
With certain communities and the police. And
it is.
And look, I'm very pro law enforcement. And I don't have a lot of gray area for that relationship.
Right.
But I'm trying to just be understanding, because if me being a little more understanding can maybe help open a door.
That's right.
To fix something. At this point, I'm as open-minded as I can be. We're at 107 murders.
That's right, man.
And we're pacing for 140.
That's right, man. And that takes me back to what I was telling you, how I felt like God stirred in my spirit and told me to leave politics and stuff alone. And if I wouldn't have left politics and stuff alone, then the people that I have been put in my life to help me build this program would not be in my life.
Yeah.
So I just urge everybody, I'm not asking people to change your ideological views on life. If you're pro-life, you're pro-life. If you're this, you're that. You know what I mean? But be more open to seeing different perspectives. Be more open, because if you're not willing to step outside your comfort zone and show compassion to the next man and just listen to what they're saying and just try to understand that perspective, then you're not helping the situation. You know what I mean? No. That's where you just back and forth argue, and that's counterproductive. That doesn't help anything.
That's a very, very good point. Look, this upcoming week, I'm off work on Tuesdays. I'm going to start putting together a Save Jxn men's, well, anybody come. I think it's just, I say a men's luncheon because we're the ones that need to get out there and
you don't want me there.
Crystal's more than welcome to come. But if she's not there, I don't want other women there.
Right. Hey, there you go. Good answer.
I don't want any women there.
Well, I want people to be. I want men to be comfortable.
Well, and I know we're finna to get off here and we just keep talking, but I want to say this too. So women are needed.
Yes.
1,000,000%, because there's some girls doing some bad stuff.
Absolutely.
But the strong men in the neighborhoods, the strong men. I'm not gonna get biblical on the man in the household, the man in the, you know what I mean? But
I believe in all that.
We are the dominant. We are the men, and it's up to us to be men and stand up and do something about what's going on.
Well, one of the biggest problems, guys, where we're at now is men not being men.
Yeah,
right. and what I mean is just not stepping up and being there for the kids and being the men of the leader of your household.
That's right.
These women can only do so damn much by themselves.
Right. Exactly right.
And some of them do a great damn job of it.
Great job. And if you have these households, you have hundreds and thousands of households.
70%.
There's not a father in that household. Then the real men need to stand in the gap for them kids.
Mm-hmm. So I guess what I'm saying is I'm thinking about starting this Tuesday, and the date may change, but start having once a month, get a group of men together with this Save Jxn platform. Your platform is welcome to join in.
Yeah. Just
get together, have a lunch, almost like a recruiting tool.
Yeah.
Like here's some things. Let's get off the internet and let's start figuring out something we can do. Maybe we're not the guys that can get in the hood and get to these kids, but maybe we can do some of the other stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's definitely 100% correct.
Which opens up more time for you guys.
Yeah.
To get in there. Maybe we can go down there and unload the food trucks.
I think face-to-face always helps.
There are ways to help and just kind of figure out, hey, here's what's going on. We need let's do a fundraiser for this. But brainstorming sessions is what I'm really saying here.
That's right.
You get together and you get some ideas outside your circle.
Yeah.
It's like, well, here's something I've seen. Here's something that we should try. Start getting a group of guys together.
Is so point on is so exactly right, because you got a lot of guys, a lot of white dudes who think, well, hell, what can I do about Jxn? I can't even go over there and do nothing. There's things you can do.
It is. You don't have to be necessarily boots on ground in the middle of breaking up a fight.
Right.
But there's other stuff you can do.
You can help organize an event. You can help, financial. You can help pay for the food at the event. You can
load
just
a truck.
Unload the food truck. Deliver groceries.
Well, what do you do? Do you work at a print shop, man? Maybe you can get us a deal on some flyers.
Some flyers.
You just pool your resources and figure out who can do what. You may be doing something that you don't even know. There could be another guy sitting across from you who says, "Hey, man, I've been looking for somebody that can do that because I can use it for this."
Right.
That's
right, man.
And it ain't got to be just it can just be a networking thing as well. Yeah. You can never have too many friends that can help you out.
That's right.
We all need a guy that knows a guy.
We all need that guy.
That girl. I've always considered myself more of a facilitator.
Right.
Than probably anything else, man. Because I just know everybody. Well, I know a guy. I'm that I know a guy.
Right.
That's
right. And that's important.
I got a guy.
Yeah. That's right.
And so whatever making T-shirts or printing flyers or graphic design or whatever.
Whatever.
All right, well, cool, man. I'm gonna put that together and let's work on making that happen.
Okay.
And the invitation is always open for you to come. Maybe we can make this a normal thing.
I mean, I'm down with it, man. I have a good time when I come over
I
here.
do too, man. It opens me up and it gives me a whole nother. I start getting down on my stuff, and then you come over and I'm like, man, it's re-energized me.
Right. Well, good
You know?
deal.
So, it's nice because we do what we do and we work so damn much.
Yeah.
And we're not as don't have the opportunity to be as boots on ground as we want to be.
Right.
But you come over, man, it gets my boots, my flip flops fired up. All right, well, look, man, we're gonna jump off here. Check them out online, BennyIvey.com.
BennyIvey.com.
His
man.
Facebook profile's public.
Public, yeah. If anybody wants to hear, stay in tune with what Strong Arms of Jackson is doing on a daily basis. Every Monday evening at 6 o'clock on the Strong Arms of Jxn Facebook page, we do a Monday night live show.
If y'all will,
it's
if y'all will
recorded,
tag
you can
me,
go back and watch it.
if y'all will tag me, I'll share that. If you'll or
Okay.
just shoot me a text and remind me. Monday's always the hell of a day.
Yeah.
To remember stuff. If you'll tag me, man, I'll make sure we get that shared here on the Save Jackson page and in our Jxn Uncensored group and all that, and start helping promote that too.
Okay. Yeah, and and it's just talking about what's going on in Jackson, the citizens of Jackson, what we got going on with our program and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Well, cool.
So,
Look, we appreciate everybody. Y'all hit that share button for us.
that's right.
Hit that share button. Be sure to check out our sponsors, USA Pawn, the gym at Byram, and Father and Son Southern Lawncare Professionals. Y'all have a blessed one, and thank y'all for tuning in tonight.
Yeah. God bless, man.
Amen. Let's see if I can do this without falling.